Or welcome everyone. Welcome to Office Hours with Michael Kitces. So for today's topic, I want to talk a little bit about practice management and client segmentation and how we handle small clients. So one of the challenges I find in getting practice management advice as an advisory firm owner is, frankly, there are a lot of strategies out there that are much easier said than done. As the saying goes, the theory works well in theory, but not in practice. And I try to be careful not to fall into that trap as well, as someone that not only deals with this running an advisory firm, but also that obviously writes a lot about practice management advice as well and kind of wears that hat. So I try to make sure at some point we kind of get practical and talk reality of what we have to deal with. And so in that theme, one of the biggest areas that I see practice management advice often struggle is this classic advice that we're supposed to break our clients up into A clients and B clients and C clients, where you give special services to your A clients, you give sort of normal services to your B clients, and then your C clients you're supposed to find either sort of the lowest service level because they're paying you the least, and so you just can't service them as much as everybody else, or frankly some practice management consultants that just say, hey, you need to systematically fire your C clients and focus on your A's and B's so you can move up in your business. So we got a question this week from Don, and Don wrote in, I've been working with a practice management consultant who's pushing me to prune my client base and get rid of my smallest clients who aren't very profitable. I get the theory, but how exactly do you do this? Like, do you just go and say to the client, hey, sorry, not going to work with you anymore, have a nice life? If you fire a client, isn't that going to piss them off? So good question, Don. I think the important context to set to this is really just to recognize that we're all limited in how many clients we can actually serve. We can only handle so many. Our brain, there's even some research out there suggests our brains can just only handle so many relationships. And so if you think of it that there's just only so many client slots you can handle, it becomes an appealing strategy to say, all right, maybe for some of the smallest clients, we need to let them go and kind of free up slots on the bus for someone else to get on. Now, some firms, frankly, if they really want to grow and expand into businesses, they handle this issue by hiring an associate advisor, let that advisor serve the smaller clients, and it can still be profitable for the business because a younger or a newer advisor has lower salary demands, so you can pay them reasonably for their experience. They can serve smaller clients. It's still profitable in the aggregate. But I'm going to assume for a moment that you don't want to hire, or maybe you don't have enough small clients for it to make sense to hire a full-timer. So you need to do something. You're hitting your own client capacity. You need to free up room for bigger clients to grow your business. But as Don notes, it's really hard in practice to fire a client, especially since in reality, for so many of us, our smallest clients are actually often our first clients or our long-standing clients. Is that true for any of you out there? Often when we get started, we kind of will take anybody that we can work with. And so we end up taking on the smallest clients early on. Then as the business succeeds and we start moving up the line, we end up with not just small clients, but small clients that were our first. And that creates all sorts of challenges around letting them go because of the implied loyalty. Like, hey, thanks for sticking with my advisory firm for 10 years, but now I become so successful, I'm not going to work with you anymore. It doesn't feel like a very gracious thing to do with clients who took the leap on getting started with your business. But it still becomes a bottleneck because we can only serve so many people. So there are a few strategies about how you actually get rid of small clients that I think you can do it in a reasonably graceful manner. So one strategy I know a lot of advisors that actually use successfully is to graduate the client. So you sit down with a client and say, we've been on this journey together. We've been working together for years now. I think I've taken you as far as I can on this journey. We've gotten your finances sorted out. I've helped you in several areas. And I think you're ready to do this on your own. And hey, you can even save the cost of paying me. I'll help you transition to a self-directed platform like Schwab or TD Ameritrade or E-Trade or something of that nature. But the idea of this approach is to make the client, frankly, feel good about what they've done and accomplished and emphasize that they're ready to go out on their own. So you're not firing them. you're graduating them. Congratulations, you've sorted out your life enough that you can do this on your own now. You don't need me to work with you. Particularly if the reality is, again, it's a smaller client for you. You're probably not really servicing them that in-depth anyways and doing that much support for them anyways right now. They are probably heavily self-directing already because that's just what tends to happen. The smallest clients get the least service. So it makes clients feel good about themselves. You're not rejecting them. You're trying to uplift them, that they've just moved on to the point where you're not the right one to be on the journey with them anymore. And frankly, I've seen people do this not only with 2 small clients, but frankly, just a few of those pain in the butt clients that you've helped some and you really don't want to serve anymore, regardless of even whether they're a C client financially, and just go to them and say, look, we've worked together. I've helped you for a while. I think you're really ready to go out and do it on your own, which is a much nicer way than saying, I just don't want to work with you anymore, even if that happens to be the case. Now, the caveat, of course, to the strategy of trying to graduate clients is that it's hard to do that in good faith if you actually don't think they're in a good mental or financial situation to do so. Right? And turning them out on themselves would just set them up to hurt themselves. So if this is your situation, option B is that you refer them out to another financial advisor. So instead of graduating them to be self-directed, you're going to send them along to another advisor that can help them more. Now, the basic approach is still the same. It's telling the client, look, I think I've helped you as far as I can on your journey. I'd like you to refer you to so-and-so, who I think is going to be a better fit to help you from here. Now, of course, ideally, you want to check with that other advisor first, let him or her know that you're going to be sending a referral over, make sure it goes smoothly, because the last thing you want to do is refer the client out to another advisor and have the other advisor reject them and say, I don't want to work with you either. But a key aspect to this strategy is to recognize that a client that might be too small for you could still be a big, awesome client for another advisor. And I find we sometimes tend to forget this. It's sort of like, well, if I can't service the client, then no one can service the client. And it's just not true. A lot of us are at very different places in our businesses. A lot of us just have different targets about who we want to serve. So this isn't just about sending a small client away like they're a cast-off. It's about sending them to an advisor who actually wants to work with that person and who wants to give them good service. Because again, the reality usually is if it's your C client, you are probably not really giving them the best service at this point because you're focusing on your A and B clients. And there are a lot of places you can go where you can refer smaller clients to advisors that will happily and graciously serve them. You can look at firms that don't have minimums like Garrett Planning Network. We're the same at XY Planning Network. No asset minimums, so it's a good fit for small clients. They simply pay for financial planning with a monthly subscription fee. You can network around your local FPA chapter, NAPFA chapters, a PFP society for AICPA in your state if you've got one, to find other advisors to refer to. But the whole point is let the client go to someone who will really value them as a client. Because the truth is it's better for the client, it's better for the other advisor, and frankly, it's better for you because we've already determined this is not a very profitable client for you given your business structure and what you do, because that was how they got the C-level ranking in the first place. Now, if you're looking to release a lot of small clients, another option to consider is rather than simply referring them out, you actually do a partial sale of your advisory business. So you sell a portion of your client base, that grouping of C clients. In part, that's easier because if there's a whole bunch of them, it may be easier to negotiate with one advisor to do it all at once rather than just sending them out one at a time. And frankly, if it's a chunk of C clients, there is some economic value there. Again, because those clients are still valuable and profitable to someone else, even if they're not necessarily valuable to you. So that might be going to look for buyers at places like FP Transitions, going through your broker-dealer or custodial platform so you can find someone else who can work with the clients where they are so they don't have to move their accounts and repaper and do all those things that clients don't like to do. Or again, you might just network with other local advisors. Now, if you're selling your smallest clients, you may not exactly get a premium payment for them, but it still may be better than just walking away from the revenue by referring them out or shifting them to a self-directed account by selling the portion of your business that is not really a great fit for you at this point anyways, but maybe a wonderful fit for another advisor. And now, again, at least the messaging for clients is a little bit softer. You're not ditching them. You're not firing them. You've simply made another business deal with a different advisor to sell a portion of your business, and they're going to be going to a new advisor who's excited to serve them and work with them. And so you can still very much, I think, be framed as a positive for the client. Now, if you can or don't want to send the clients away by graduating them or referring them out or selling them off, your last option is simply to raise your prices, raise your financial planning fees, and let them fire you. So you don't make it about them not qualifying. In essence, you make yourself not affordable and let them make the choice. Now, of course, just imposing things like a minimum asset size, a minimum account size doesn't work, because now you're back in the world of making small clients feel slighted. Hey, you only have $250,000 and I'm making a new minimum at $500,000. Now the client feels bad again. So the idea of this is that you don't institute an asset minimum, you institute an actual minimum fee. So you might go to client and say, look, we're just going to charge, we're instituting a new process. We've determined that in order to service our clients well to the depth that we think is appropriate and be as effective as a business, we need to charge clients $4,000 a year, or $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever your number is. So we need to charge $4,000 a year. So starting next year, we'll be implementing this minimum fee. If you'd like to stay with us, we welcome you to continue working with us, and we'll tell you all about the new service standards and all the things that we're going to be doing for all clients going forward. If you don't want to work with us, that's okay. We'll help you find another advisor you work with, or we'll help you shift to manage things yourself. So now the choice is the client's about whether to fire you or stick with you. And the truth is, if they really value what you do, particularly if you're doing comprehensive financial planning and providing more value than just portfolio management, they may well decide to step up to the fee. They may say, hey, all right, $4,000 fee on a $250,000 portfolio is a relatively high percentage, but the value you give me goes way beyond just the portfolio. It's all the other financial planning services that you provide, and I'm happy to pay you the minimum fee. And if they do, they just turn themselves from C clients into at least B clients for you. So now it's profitable to keep them, and you can continue to service them as you have. Now, if they decide to move on, if you say, well, our minimum fee going forward is going to be $4,000, that's what we think we have to charge simply to deliver the service that we want to deliver going forward, and the client says, well, I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable paying that, I don't want to pay that, well, that's fine, because frankly, the goal was to not really work with those C clients going forward anyways, but now you're not firing the client, you're not telling the client to go away, you've simply gone through a fee increase that you're doing for your entire business, and they decide to fire you. They get to reject you. So that certainly reduces the risk of angry or resentful clients, even ones that have been with you for a long time. So it's a much easier way to do the transition. It's not about their small assets. It's not about whether they qualify. It's about your business evolving to give a new higher level of service and a fee that goes with it, and they can make the choice about whether they want to come along or not. But the bottom line is there really are, I think, reasonably gracious ways to try to eliminate working with smaller clients who aren't profitable. Because again, it's not just about firing them so you can let them go and make more money. It's also that recognizing that your C client can still be someone else's B client or even someone else's A client. And that means sending it to the other advisor benefits the client, who's going to get better service from that advisor because they're going to move up and be a B or an A for someone else. Maybe that advisor doesn't have your costs or your overhead or your business's financial needs, or they are just running a different kind of business model. So in that context, again, you can graduate clients, you can refer them out, you can sell a portion of your client base, or you can simply institute a minimum fee or raise your minimum fee and let the client self-select out. But given that we can all only serve a limited number of clients, and particularly if you don't want to do more hiring and build out a large-scale business, it really is important to make sure that you're working with clients that are right for your business. So don't feel guilty about the need to at least move on from certain clients who don't fit where your business has gone. Just be ready to find a gracious way to let them go. So I hope that's helpful with some food for thought. This is Michael Kitces, this is Office Hours with Michael Kitces, 1 p.m. East Coast time on Tuesday. Sorry we got started a little bit late today, but thanks for hanging out, everyone. Hope this was helpful food for thought, and have a great day.